Squid Game was a great TV show, but if I asked you to tell me what was the most memorable thing about it, obviously you would reply how it inspired children to set up their own multi-million-pound death arenas across school playgrounds. No? Oh, it must just be the New York Post then, is it? Welcome to the wonderful, weird world of Dr. Sandra Wheatley. Yes, Dr. Sandra Wheatley here says that Squid Game might foster a generation of violent bullies. You see, now, she is a social psychologist, an expert in child bullying. Don't be too impressed. Children are really small. It's particularly easy to do.
But the old axiom was misleading. Taking the candy proved exceedingly difficult. I said, drop it.
But she says that the violent series could impede young kids' social and emotional development. It could encourage them to turn a blind eye or even join in when others are under attack. Yes, we've all heard this argument before, and it has been proven true time and time again. That's why when I've gone through and watched many films, I've always fallen foul of it and just become exactly what I witnessed on the screen. That's why when I watched V for Vendetta, I became a British guy who decided to overturn a totalitarian fascist government who decided to rule the country through tyranny via trying to make a massive amount of fear among the populace for an airborne pathogen. Thank God that's never come to pass. Also, when the Full Monty happened, a show about men stripping in front of women, I just couldn't help it. Before the Full Monty, I have never wanted to strip in front of a group of women. I never saw anything in it for me. I don't even think I could eat that many sandwiches. But here we are, after I saw that show, I couldn't resist, and it was just like magic. Off the clothes came. It happened, and I couldn't resist it because I was taken over by the movie, and I lost all self-control, and that's what's happening to the kids, according to Dr. Sandra Wheatley, an expert in child bullying. She is amazing at bullying children. Now, I have also locked into Dr. Sandra Wheatley, and as well as being amazing at bullying children, she also does PR marketing campaigns. Yes, Sandra here, she does product launches for Honda, B&Q, and NatWest Bank. Yeah, she's an expert in doing product launches and bullying children. She also writes books about cheating and romance and your relationships. So she's an expert in relationships, NatWest Bank, and bullying children. It's an eclectic mix of things, and she's an expert in all of them. She is obviously an expert in this, and you can't question that. That's science. Now, Squid Game, as it says here, is obviously where characters compete in a deadly tournament of children's games. Games for children, for life-altering cash prizes, and this is a very physical and emotionally violent show, ultimately resulting in death. One would say, perhaps, that this is a show that your children shouldn't watch. Not because they're going to imitate it in any way, but because keeping a child's innocence is about not exposing them to adult topics, because that way they can remain as children. That's normally the aim. That's why you don't show children this kind of thing as a responsible parent. It's not because they're going to go out and do it en masse to their friends. No one's ever said that that's going to cause them to do it. It just kind of takes away some of that outlook on life. You know, the young time where they're supposed to just have fun and not need to worry about whether your mate next door's going to bang her best friend and then start slaughtering everybody. Normally, that's not something I had to worry about when I was 6, I've got to be honest. Maybe I was lucky, who knows? But Sandra here, Sandra, she doesn't have that worry. No, Sandra says that our younger generation may not understand the show's context. She has no problem showing kids this stuff, not from like a moral stance. No, they just don't understand the context of it. Obviously, you should be able to show children massive amounts of brutal slaughter as long as they get the context. Oh, where have I been all my life? So, you've got to ask, it makes them ask the question, why is nobody helping them? Clearly, there are messages that we really don't want our kids to take on board. Yeah, it's the messaging that's the problem, not the brutal slaughter. The brutal slaughter's fine. As long as you show them brutal slaughtering with the correct message, that's apparently okay for Sandra, the child psychologist who also sells NatWest Bank stuff and tells you how to cheat on your wife. I don't know. It's a bit weird to me. But hey, I'm not going to argue with it. That's science. Now, this may well shake the foundations of what they're taught at school, which is that we care and help each other. Hey, I've seen what they teach at school. I've also seen the videos of all the parents going to the school boards complaining about what they're getting taught at school. I think there's enough problems with what they get taught at school, and that's not that we care and help each other. No. Her statement comes after a primary school in Belgium warned parents about Squid Game after finding that their students reenacted the games on the playground as depicted in the show. We must remain vigilant that this unhealthy and dangerous game is stopped. Now, again, Squid Game is about a load of adults who play a children's game, and rather than just, if they lose, getting kicked out of the game, in Squid Game, you get kicked out of life. That's generally the thing. Now, if you actually remove the unhealthy and dangerous part of Squid Game, which is the getting kicked out of life, what you're left with is the children's game, which children were meant to play, that was invented by children, for children, and children have been playing for decades in school playgrounds. What you've got here, and unless, and they haven't said it, so I'm going to assume it's not happened, unless in this primary school in Belgium, those children playing that children's games have also been brutally slaughtering their friends. I don't think the children have been setting up massive, multi-million-pound death arenas in the school playground. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I've been proven wrong many a time, and I am not a scientist. Right, so I'm just going to assume that they have just been playing the school game, red light, green light, because as it says here, other penance for losing in the school game of red light, green light. In the series, those disqualified are shot in the head at point blank. Firstly, it was with a sniper rifle. It wasn't point blank. It was at quite some range, and a lot of them were running away. Spoilers, but yeah, they did shoot them when they were running away. But I would argue that in the playground, as long as the kids are removing the element of shooting their friends in the head at point blank, then I think the game red light, green light, the children's game, is okay for children in a playground. I think that's fine. Maybe it's just me. I'm not a scientist. I can't argue with Karen. Sandra. Now, Miss Wheatley here does say that she thinks that this brutal murder of people in children's playgrounds by the massive amounts of death arenas is sending the kids the wrong message about how to handle bullying. Yeah, she thinks the brutal mass slaughter of people is sending the wrong message about playground bullying. Because those two things are identical, and I don't want to hear otherwise, because you're not a scientist. We don't just stand by when we witness injustice. If we see somebody else being bullied or hurt, we will tell a teacher. And we don't just join in or walk away. And don't you know, in Squid Game, if all of them had just got together and just told a teacher, then the teacher could have come along and solved all of it. I think that was the end. I think I've seen that. I've got a very early DVD copy of Squid Game, and I think if you go and watch the alternate ending, that actually does end at the end of the first episode, where someone goes and it asks a teacher what to do, and the teacher comes in and says, I've had enough of this, you've got to shut this down. I'm not having any more of your mass extinction events in our school playgrounds. Go away and think about what you've done. But I think as long as we actually teach children to eradicate the brutal murder from all of their school games, and I know that was a massive problem, but I think if we get together and talk to them rationally about it, I think the kids are old enough to know that their friend Bob probably shouldn't be shot in the head just because he missed hopscotch. Now, one of the dangerous sites on the internet, especially for British parents, is Mumsnet. Yes, if you are a parent, you never, ever want to see anyone go on Mumsnet, because it's full of mums. Now, one mum wrote about her 8-year-old child, I watched Squid Game with her in her room. It's your first mistake. I fast forward through the adult bedroom scenes. Now, this may just be me, but I don't think that an adult bedroom scene is actually improved for family viewing by fast forwarding it. Because what you end up with is not just like a rhythmic beat of body on body action. No, now what you've got is brutal pounding. Yeah, it's the brutal pounding. That's what we need in front of the kids. Seriously, that's not going to help. It's not going to help. I don't think that making something more brutal is going to make it family viewing. It's probably not fine. Probably don't watch that with your kids, especially if you're just making it worse. But to round it off, I would like to say that, as in anything, not everybody is the same, and even on Mumsnet, you will occasionally get some women who are actually based. Now, and those are the ones which say that actually, maybe we shouldn't allow our 8-year-old children to watch massively brutal murders of people on the TV screen, when actually they should probably just be watching Doctor Who or something. And that's basically where I am. Look, I don't think that anything's going to happen to them. I don't think that if they watch it, it's going to turn them into a psychopath. What I do think is that maybe kids should just be not exposed to this thing for a while until they're older, so they can actually have fun as kids and not even have to worry about any of this stuff. No, it's not going to turn them into psychopaths. No, it's not going to do any kind of permanent damage. But at the same time, maybe we should just let them be kids. They don't have to think of this stuff. There's no need for them to. And although, yes, I played GTA 1 when I was 10 or something, it was also a 2D screen with pixelated graphics. And I watched Squid Game, and as amazing as it was incredibly, incredibly brutal. And it was very realistic. If I'm watching it thinking, oh, that was rough, maybe an 8-year-old kid shouldn't be watching it. And I think that makes a lot more sense than getting someone who specializes in bullying children to tell us all, actually, we're ruining children and they shouldn't even be allowed to play kids games anymore just because a TV show also had some kids games in it. And I just think that my policy is a lot more sane than some weird, bizarre ruling of a school in Belgium and some NatWest bank salesman who decides to tell us how to raise kids on the side. And I'm not an expert, but I would say that actually out of those two, that's science. For now, that's it from me. If you liked the video, press like and subscribe for more content like this in the future. And let me know what you thought of Squid Game in this bizarre article down below. But for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.